In the sweltering heat of May 2001, a shadow fell over the sprawling metropolis of New Delhi. It wasn't the kind of shadow cast by the city's towering buildings or monsoon clouds. This was a shadow of fear, a creeping dread that whispered through the narrow alleyways and across the rooftops of India's capital. A bizarre and terrifying entity had begun to haunt the city's nights, an attacker described in hushed, frightened tones. It was a creature, or perhaps a man, that came to be known as the Monkey Man. The first reports were scattered, dismissed by many as isolated incidents or overactive imaginations. They began to trickle in from the eastern districts of the city. People spoke of a strange figure, half man, half monkey, leaping across rooftops with unnatural agility. The descriptions were chillingly consistent: a short, muscular figure covered in thick black hair, with a helmet on its head and glowing red eyes. Some even claimed it had metal claws. Imagine this: you're asleep on your rooftop, a common practice in Delhi's scorching summer. Suddenly, you're jolted awake by a scratching sound. You open your eyes to see a dark, simian-like figure looming over you. Before you can scream, it attacks, leaving deep gashes on your skin before vanishing back into the night. This was the terrifying reality for the first victims. The attacks grew more frequent, and the stories more harrowing. One of the earliest widely reported incidents involved a man who was woken by his neighbor's screams. Rushing out, he confronted the creature. He described it as about 4 feet tall, with a monkey-like face and sharp claws. The creature scratched him before making an impossible leap to an adjacent building and disappearing. Soon, the trickle of reports became a flood. The police were inundated with calls. Every night, dozens of people claimed to have been attacked or to have seen the Monkey Man. The city's hospitals started treating people for scratches, bites, and injuries sustained while fleeing in panic. The media frenzy began, and the legend of the Monkey Man of Delhi was born. The city was in the grip of mass hysteria. But what exactly was happening? Was a real creature on the loose, or was this a product of collective fear? To understand the Monkey Man phenomenon, we need to look at the context of Delhi in 2001. The city was experiencing a major heat wave, coupled with frequent power cuts. This forced millions of residents to sleep outdoors, on their terraces and in their courtyards, making them feel vulnerable. This vulnerability was fertile ground for fear to take root. The descriptions of the Monkey Man were strangely specific, yet varied. Some said it had springs on its feet, others that it wore a full bodysuit. The glowing red eyes were a common feature, but what could explain them? A popular theory was that it wore some kind of night vision goggles. The metal claws were another terrifying detail, adding to the creature's monstrous image. The police were in a difficult position. They were under immense pressure to catch the culprit, but they had very little to go on. Was it one person, a gang, or something else entirely? They launched a massive investigation, deploying thousands of officers. They set up traps, patrolled the rooftops, and offered a substantial reward for any information leading to an arrest. Sketches of the suspect were created based on eyewitness accounts. These drawings, plastered across newspapers and television screens, showed a menacing figure, a bizarre hybrid of human, monkey, and machine. It was a face that fueled nightmares. The police urged the public to remain calm, but their pleas fell on deaf ears. The city was on edge. Vigilante groups began to form. Armed with sticks and anything they could find, residents took to the streets at night, determined to protect their neighborhoods. This created a new layer of danger. The atmosphere was so tense that any shadow, any strange noise, could trigger a panic. In the confusion, innocent people were mistaken for the Monkey Man and attacked by frightened mobs. The panic had tragic consequences. Several deaths were attributed not to the creature itself, but to the fear it inspired. A pregnant woman fell down a flight of stairs while rushing to what she thought was safety after a neighbor screamed about the Monkey Man. Another man, mistaken for the creature, was beaten to death by a vigilante group. A third person died after jumping from a building, believing he was being chased. The fear was proving to be more deadly than the monster. As the weeks went by, the police explored every possible theory. Was it an elaborate prank? A group of criminals using the disguise to commit robberies? Or perhaps something more supernatural? They consulted with everyone from engineers to zoologists. The zoologists quickly dismissed the idea of a real, unknown primate. No such animal could survive undetected in a city like Delhi. Plus, the descriptions didn't match any known species. The theory of a person in a costume seemed more plausible. But who and why? The attack seemed random, with no clear motive like theft. The attacker would simply appear, scratch the victim, and disappear. Some psychologists suggested that this was a classic case of mass hysteria, where initial reports, possibly exaggerated or misidentified, were amplified by fear and media attention. Think about it. In a crowded, dark environment, a normal monkey, a cat, or even a person moving in the shadows could easily be misidentified. Once the story of the monkey man was in the public consciousness, people's minds were primed to see it. Any ambiguous stimulus could be interpreted as the creature. The scratches could be from panicked falls, self-inflicted in a frenzy, or from actual animals. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence against a single attacker was the sheer number and geographic spread of the sightings. On some nights, attacks were reported in different parts of the city at roughly the same time. It would be physically impossible for one person to cover that much ground. This led the police to suspect that it was either a coordinated group or, more likely, a social contagion. The police did make some arrests. They brought in several individuals who were found acting suspiciously or who vaguely matched the description. One man was caught wearing a monkey mask, but under questioning, none of them could be definitively linked to the wave of attacks. They were mostly pranksters or individuals taking advantage of the chaos. No mastermind was ever found. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the phenomenon started to fade. As June arrived, bringing with it the first monsoon rains, the number of sightings dropped sharply. The heat wave broke, and people began sleeping indoors again. With fewer potential victims out in the open, the nightly drama subsided. The media moved on to other stories, and the monkey man began to recede from a terrifying reality into a strange local legend. By July 2001, the official investigation was quietly wound down. The police concluded that the phenomenon was a mixture of a few initial, possibly criminal, acts, which were then magnified by mass panic and suggestibility. They never officially caught the monkey man because, in all likelihood, there was no single monkey man to catch. So, what can we learn from this bizarre chapter in Delhi's history? The Monkey Man saga is a powerful case study in mass psychology. It shows how quickly fear can spread through a community, especially when amplified by media and word of mouth. It's a reminder of how our minds can play tricks on us, and how collective anxiety can create a monster out of shadows. Similar events have happened throughout history, in different cultures. From the spring-heeled Jack of Victorian London to phantom clowns in more recent times, societies have always been susceptible to waves of panic over mysterious figures. These panics often erupt during times of social stress or uncertainty, providing a focal point for people's anxieties. The monkey man was a perfect storm. The heat, the power cuts, the economic anxieties, and the crowded living conditions all created a tinderbox of tension. The story of a strange attacker was the spark that ignited it. It became a shared cultural experience, a story told and retold, each telling adding a new layer of detail and dread. Even today, the mystery has not been fully resolved. While mass hysteria is the most accepted explanation, some people in Delhi who lived through it still believe there was something real out there. They remember the fear, the scratches, the screams in the night. For them, the monkey man was not just a figment of the imagination. The legacy of the monkey man lives on in Indian pop culture. It has inspired movies, books, and countless discussions. It serves as a strange, cautionary tale. It forces us to question the nature of reality, the power of fear, and the fine line between fact and fiction. Was it a man, a monkey, a machine, or was it something else entirely, a manifestation of the city's own fears and anxieties, given form in the darkness? Perhaps we will never know for sure. The shadow of the monkey man may have passed, but the questions it raised continue to linger in the warm, humid air of the Delhi night. The story remains a chilling testament to one of the strangest and most terrifying mass panics of the 21st century. Thank you for watching. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into unexplained mysteries.